All right, what's up guys? VV back with another video. And in today's video, we're going to be messing around with a pretty crazy, pretty kooky list for a green jewelry Bonney, okay? And we're going to be focusing on some OP-13 matchups. That's right, guys. I got an interesting idea for a deck build for Bonney. I wanted to run it past you guys and see what y'all think about it. Okay, so let's do this, guys. Let's go ahead and hop right into it. Just to lay out the video real quick for everyone, first things first, we're going to check out the deck list. After that, we're going to head over to the sim. We're going to check out 3 games on the sim of the deck list for, the main deck list for today's video. But then we have 1 extra game after that using a more standard deck list, okay? And then after that, we will recap. I'll tell you guys what I think about the leader moving forward and all that good stuff. So I will have everything time-stamped in the general description, and I'll have all relevant deck lists and links and stuff like that in the comment section below. If you guys have any comments, questions, or suggestions, please do not hesitate to put those down in the comment section below, or hop on the VV Theory Discord. Link will be in the channel description. Today's video is brought to you by Nin Garden, and pre-orders are now open for 4 new playmats, including Chaos Crew, Green Fury, and Absolute Ruler. They also carry apparel like the Kings of Heart tee and matching pin. Plus, for this month only, take part in their Halloween Mystery Playmat sale, which comes with 10 free card sleeves with your order. And don't forget to use the code TheVVTheory at the checkout to get 8% off on your next order. Alright guys, let's go ahead and break down the deck list for today's video. Starting off with the leader, we have Green Jewelry Bonney. This is a 5-life, 5,000 power leader with the Supernova and Body Pirates type. And the effect is when opponent attacks, once per turn, pay 1, rest up to one of your opponent's leaders or characters. Okay? So we're going to mouse over each one of these cards, guys. So if you're a newer player, be sure to pause the video and read what each one does, okay, as we go over them. Okay, so we're running 2 Capone Gang Beige. This is the new one from ST24. Running 4 of the 2K counter TCG. Running 4 Urouge. Running 4 of the new OP-13 Uda. Running 2 of the new PRB02 2K counter Zorro. Running 4 Cavendish. 2 of the 5-cost Bonney that locks down a character or a Dawn. Then we're running 4 Carrot. 4 Jewelry Bonney. This is the new secret rare from OP12. 4 of these. 4 2K counter X Drake from ST24. 3 Hody Jones. 4 of the 8-cost Rosinante. You guys probably see what's going on, right? Pause and see what this card does. If you don't already know, you might get an idea of what's going on here. And then we're running 3 Dracula Mihawk, 2 Doflamingos, the 10-cost, and then 4 of the EB02 Searcher event. So, notice the name of this list I have, guys, at the top left corner. OP-13, G stands for green, and then 458 Bonney. So there's kind of something in particular we're going for here. Now, we would like to go second as much as possible, but other than that, we're trying to do something here, guys, something very specific. We want to go second first as much as we can, so that way we can slam down our 10-cost Doflamingo and go from there. But it's not just because of, hitting our late game. We have a very strong curve in this deck going second. We can go, okay, turn 1, we have access to the Searcher event to fix our hand. Guys, this can do a top 4 search and reveal, let me just read it real quick. Main, look at the top 4 cards of your deck, reveal 1 card with a cost of 4 or more, and add it to your hand. Then place the rest at the bottom of your deck in any order, and the trigger activates the main effect. So we can search up every single card in this deck, with the exception of this event and a few other cards, the 2-cost Capone Gang Beige, and the 3-cost Tashigi. Okay, so early on we can play this, right? Turn 1, going second, we can do some searching. Turn 2, we have 2 really good options. Check this out. Everyone knows what Urouge does, right? We'll get a blocker down, we'll get a Dawn back at the end of the turn, we're off to the races. Or, now we have access to this Uda. Let's take some time to break this card down, guys, because I think this card is actually very, very strong. Number 1, it's completely searchable in our deck because of the event. Everything past Urouge is searchable in this deck by this event other than the event, right? We can't search up more events with this. It has to be a card that costs 4 or more. But we can search up this Uda, and look what it does. It's a 4-cost 5K with a 1K counter, and it has on play, set up to 2 of your Dawn cards as active. Then you cannot play character cards with a base cost of 5 or more during this turn. That's fine, because we're not trying to play anything afterwards, right? We're trying to play this out on curve. And then we have an on KO, play up to 1 character card with a cost of 5 or less from your hand as rested. Okay, well that actually works out perfectly for green, right? We have a lot of very strong 5-cost cards here, like the Cavendish, like this Bonney, like Carrot, and like this this Jory Bonney, and even the new 2K counter X Drake from ST24. All right, notice another thing, guys. On our 8 Dawn turn, we'll talk about the 6 Dawn turn in a minute, even though we don't really have to. It's pretty much all the 5-cost cards I just said, so we'll just go past that. On our 8 Dawn turn, look at these options, guys. We have Rosinante or Mihawk. We'll talk about Mihawk in a second, but this Rosinante, this is the secret rare from OP-04. It's an 8-cost, 8,000 power character that has, on your opponent's turn, if this character is rested, your active characters with an original cost of 5 cannot be KO'd by effects, okay? And then on play, you may rest this character and play up to 1 green character with a character card with a cost of 5 from your hand. It's not 5 or less, it's 5 exactly. Well, we have to talk about this card, guys, because this card is actually so good with this Bonney. This is going to allow you to flood the board into a card like Bonney. I mean, you can always play it into Carrot, you can play it into Jory Bonney, into Cavendish, or whatever 5-cost character you have in the deck. But in particular, guys, notice what this new secret Bonney does from OP-12. It's a 5-cost 6K, 1K counter blocker, and it has on play, if you have 8 or more rested cards, draw 2 cards and trash 1 card from your hand, then set up to 1 of your Dawn cards as active. Okay, well guys, we can play out Rosinante, resting 8 Dawn, playing out the Bonney. Now we have a blocker, and we get to do a draw 2, trash 1, set 1 of our Dawn as active, and since the Rosinante will be rested, now they cannot KO our blocker from effects. So there's just a lot of synergy going on here. In the same idea with Uda, you can cheat out any of these 5-cost cards. Well, excuse me, Uda can play up to 1 character card with a cost of 5 or less from your hand is rested. So that's really nice. This Uda can play out anything starting from X Drake and going backwards. It can play out any of these cards on KO. That's on KO. So there's a lot of synergy around this 5-cost spot in the deck, which is nice because if we are forced to go first, now we have a really strong turn 3, right? On turn 2, on our 3 Dawn turn, we can slam down a Tashigi, or maybe do a search and attack or whatever, right? We can do whatever we need to. There's not a whole lot for us to do on turn 2 going first, but as soon as we hit turn 3, we can make up for that with a really powerful play from like a Cavendish or a Carrot, or just playing out a Bonney. Even if we don't get to draw cards, sometimes it's still fine just to establish a 5-cost 6K blocker. That's completely fine. Okay, so what's next? Okay, so that was our 8 Dawn turn with Rosinante. We also have an 8 Dawn turn with Dracula Mihawk. This is why this is called, so you can see where the 5-8 comes from in the name up here, guys. We have a lot of 5-cost characters, and this 8-cost Rosinante and this 8-cost Mihawk is really good, right? It's just really good in general. The Rosinante can play out these 5-cost characters, but then Mihawk on curve can actually play out these 4-cost characters, anything from this Zoro and downward, right? Which is really, really nice. It's not quite as strong of a play, in my opinion, as the Rosinante, but in some situations, maybe it's stronger if you need to play something more defensively. You can go, okay, play out the Mihawk, get 4 Dawn as active, play out the Rouge, now we get a Dawn back as active at the end of our turn. We have 2 blockers. There's some things you can do there. But going first, this is kind of like a 9 Dawn play for us, right? Because like it becomes like a 9 Dawn play where we get to play out a 5-cost afterwards, because check out how this would go. Again, this is on a 9 Dawn turn. If we play out the Dracula Mihawk, we get 4 Dawn as active. Well, he only cost 8, so we had 5. We'll have 5 Dawn active. Okay, well now we get to play out all of our 5-cost characters, or at least one of them, right? not all, we can't play out every single one of them, but we can play any one of them for 5 after playing this out on a 9 Dawn turn, and then of course we can play out the 4-cost characters if needed as well. Okay, so this is like our 8-cost character, and this is like our 9-cost character pretty much, right? Like the Rosinante is 8-cost, and then Mihawk can be an 8-cost, but he's slightly better probably in the 9-cost position, because you get to play this card out. You have an 8K blocker now, and then you can play out, whatever 4 or 5 costs you want to. And then last but not least, of course, we have Doflamingo. I'll probably go up this card, guys. Hear me out. The version you see on the screen here, this is not perfect or anything. This is just the first draft. And I think the first thing I will do actually is going, I'll try to talk more about this at the end of the video, but I think going -1 Rosinante to go +1 Doflamingo, I think that will make the deck slightly more consistent. But again, I'll try to remember to bring that up at the end of the video. Okay, well, that's about it, guys. That's why this deck is called Bonney 458. Okay, this is like a 4-5-8 build where the whole build is kind of focused around this 4-cost and 5-cost spot with really strong 8-cost characters. that you can play out to help you flood the board and keep your presence in the mid and late game. Okay, that's the whole idea there. And then, of course, we're going to completely rely on our Bonney's leader effect to just lock our opponent out of this game. We have a lot of blockers in the deck, running 2 beige, 4 Rouge, 2 of this new Zoro. We could go up that number if we need to. And then we're running 4 of this Bonney, running 4 of, or excuse me, and 3 Mihawk. So we're actually running, what is that, 2, plus 2 is 4, plus 4 is 8, plus 3 is 11, plus 4. We're running 15 blockers, guys. We're running 15 blockers. We have a lot of ways to just kind of keep the game going, you know, extending the game out, because then we also have our leader effect shutting down attacks too. Okay? So that's it for the deck list, guys. Let's go ahead and hop over to the sim and see this deck in action. All right, guys. First game up we have against Black Emu. Okay, volume is off. Let's get the speed on 2x, and here we go. Now, before we start, let me say something real quick. Like I said, we kind of want to go second. We can go first and things are fine, but we would much rather go second. Okay, that would be much better for us. One more thing, too, is how is Bonney going for you guys in OP-13? Please tell me in the comment section below, guys, how has Bonney been for you guys in OP-13? I would love to hear what you guys are doing, you know, especially if you're running the more traditional build. How is it holding up in OP-13? Is it not working out or what? Y'all tell me. Okay, now let's do this, guys. So it looks like I think we are going to go second here, and that's half the battle against Emu, guys. If you can win the dice roll and go second against Emu, you're already winning half the battle there, I feel like. Okay, so they're going to start off pretty standard. They're going to do the St. Shalria search. They're going to fix their hand, do a bunch of searching there. We're going to go turn 1, pass it back. They're going to do more searching. They're going to swing for 7. We don't mind taking life early on with this deck, guys. Be careful against blue. They could hit you with a pudding. But we don't mind taking life early on against, in this deck, rather. Okay, so we swing for 5. We play out the Rouge. We stay on a Dawn active. They're going to swing in for 6. We're probably just going to take this, guys, so we can protect our board later in the game. Okay, nice. We get another 8-cost Rosinante. So like I said, I think we only want 1 per game. So I'm running 4 in the deck. Currently, we'll probably drop down to 3 of those when everything's said and done. Okay, so he has a St. Topman Workery on the board. We're probably just going to rest this down. We have a 6 Dawn play here. Yeah, I think we're going to use this X-Drake, and we're just going to rest that card down, guys. Yep, and now we're going to swing in for 5, and then we're going to swing in for 5 more. Okay, let's see what they do. They give us a 1k counter, and now we're going to swing, we're going to swing in for 6, because I think the X-Drake gives us a Dawn at the end of the turn, and so does the Rouge. Yep, so we got 2 Dawn back there. If they attack with their leader, we rest down their blocker, and vice versa. If they attack with their blocker, we rest down their leader. So we're going to be able to get out of whatever we want to here. Okay, they play out Mars to get rid of our X-Drake. We don't really care about that card. It was just to try to help us keep tempo. They just lost a bunch of cards from hand. They developed their board. They're fixing their hand. And, okay, I see a 5 Elders in their trash. That's good to see, right? So we know there's 1 less 5 Elders for us to worry about in the late game if it comes down to that. Okay, here we go. We're on an 8 Dawn turn now. We don't actually have that great of a hand, guys. We don't have any card we can play off of the 8-cost Rosinante. That's just really unfortunate. We drew into 3 2k counter Tashigis. Hey, it happens. Now, we'll talk about Tashigi later if I remember, guys. I think I have a card I want to replace that with. Another 5-cost 2k counter. So we play out the Mihawk and set up another Rouge. We stand up 2 Dawn at the end of the turn, and now it's back to our opponent's turn. We have 3 blockers on the board, but we're getting very aggressive with them, because the later this game goes, the worse our chances are of winning. Okay, our opponent's going to play out Mars. They're going to get rid of one of our blockers. And now they do have 19 or more cards in their trash, so their leader is plus 1,000. Now they're going to put 3 more Dawn on, swing for 9. I'm going to rest down their blocker, the one that could attack this turn, and then I'm going to go ahead and use my blocker to 2k counter out and save my Rouge. Okay, so we want to play out the 10 cost this turn, guys. That's all we want to do, so we're just going to swing, 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 and then lock down their board. Okay, they go ahead and give me a blocker. I'm swinging in for 8 because their whole board's gone, guys. We're going to lock down their entire board here. Right? Boom. There goes that. So they can't swing with their leader next turn. They can't swing with that character. And we have a 10k on the board. But this is their first 10 cost turn. Let's see what they choose to do. I'm sure they're going to use 10 Elders here. Pay 3, play out the 10 Elders. Okay, pay 1 more Dawn and trash a card. Now they can play it out after wiping their board. And now they're going to play out all the characters. They're going to be able to swing for 7,000 with the Venus Juro right away. And this is going to be kind of tough to defend wherever they attack. Okay, first of all, they get rid of my Rouge with the 6-cost Mars, trashing a card from hand, and they're going 11 into 6. Guys, I'm 1k counter away from saving it. I probably would have tried to save the card, guys, if I could have, even if I had to trash 4 cards. But that's okay. We can't do it. It's not a big deal. So right here, guys, we actually want to develop the Rosinante, finally. we finally want to develop a Rosinante here. We're going to do some attacking first. We'll swing for 10 into 5. I want him to give me one of the blockers. He's probably going to give me Mars here because we already rest down his Mercury, or his Mercury with our leader effect when he went to attack with our leader effect. Okay, so now we do want to attack it. We just want to keep attacking it and kind of burn their hand up a little bit. So we're going to do that. We're going to go ahead and play out this card, locking down that. We're going to play out the 8-cost Rosinante, cheating out the carrot, locking down their attacker. And I'm going to go 6 into 5. I'm saying, hey, if you want to play out another 10-cost guy next turn, be my guest, right? I can't really stop him anyway because I can't win the game on this turn. I'm just going to set up for next turn. And here's the thing, guys. My carrot is protected right now from KO effects because of Rosinante. He can't play out another 10-cost Elders and get rid of my carrot. He has to do something else to do that. Unless he can attack maybe everything into my Rosinante, then he probably could. Let's see what he chooses to do. I mean, that's assuming he has another 10-cost character, right? He might not, because I know we saw one in the trash, and we knew he used one last turn. So he might not have the other two. There might be one in his life. There might be one at the bottom of his deck. We have no idea, right? We have no idea. Okay, so we're just waiting on our opponent. Wow, they're loading up big time. They are going to swing for 13 into 8, and I can save this. But do I want to? Is it the right call? Honestly, guys, I don't think it is because I'm starting to calculate lethal in my mind. They only have 4 Dawn left. If they play out another one of the Eldritch cards, okay, first of all, I use my leader effect to rest down their blocker. I'm saying, hey, man, I'm about to go through for lethal next turn. Look at that. He plays out a Mars to get rid of my guy. He cleaned up the board. Okay, I'll just take this attack here. They swing it for 7 more. We could just take this one too, or we could counter out. It doesn't matter. Next turn, we're going for lethal, guys. Guess what? Hody Jones, rest your blocker, rest your Dawn, and now load up on leader for 7. Pause. Let's do the math real quick, guys. Hang on. We're going to break this one down. Watch this. So right here, they only have 1 card in hand, right? We rest down their last Dawn, and we rest down their blocker. So they only have 1 card in hand. If we swing for 7,000, just attach 2 Dawn to our leader and swing for 7,000. They're not getting out of that. They literally can't do it. Okay, now let's see what happens next. We're going to swing for 9,000 with Hody Jones. They can't get out of this one. Now, the only way they can get out of this final attack is if they had all 2K counters in hand. If they had 3 2K counters, they technically could have gotten out of it, but that was our best chance of winning the game right there, and we took it. Good game to my opponent. Pretty decent showing of Bonney going second. You know, a lot of people, I've had a few people talk about it in the comment section below. They'll say, hey, you know, try to get a game against Imu going first. You know, try not to go first against Imu, guys. Let me tell you, that's my first piece of advice to everyone. And second, you know, if it ever comes up, of course, I'll share that with you guys. But it's very tough going against Imu when they're going second and they can just play out their stage, you know, play out their 10 costs right away, beating you to the 10 Dawn turns. It's very hard. Okay, that was the first game versus Imu. Now we got a game versus Red Blue Ace. Okay, we got the volume off. Let's go full screen and let's go 2x speed. Here we go. All right, Red Blue Ace. This is a leader I'm actually very excited to try more of. I think this deck is very, very fun to play. It's very strong. It's a very cool deck to play, I have to say. Talking about Red Blue Ace. Very solid deck. Very competitive, too, in OP-13 for those who are interested. Okay, so they play out an Ezo. They're going first. We're going second again, which is really nice for us. They attack in. We're just going to rest down their Ezo. We take the 7K hit. And they're going to go ahead and they're going to fix their hand like crazy. They've done a top 5 search with Ezo, I think. They've done a draw 2 trash 1 with Otama, a top 4 search with Garp. They just have everything they want right now, pretty much, guys. Okay, so we're going to swing in for 6. Excuse me, we play out the Uda first. We get 2 Dawn as active. We attach a Dawn to our leader, swing for 6. We have 1 Dawn left now for when they attack. We can rest down one of these little characters. Okay, we're just going to rest down the Garp here, and we are going to take the hit. We probably should have countered out of that to play around Pudding, but hey, it is what it is. Fortunately, they did not have Pudding. Or if they did, they didn't want to play it there. Whatever the case is, it doesn't really matter. So right here, guys, I'm actually going to swing 5 into Garp, and I'm going to tempt him to block with Marco. I'm basically saying, yeah, go ahead. Block with the Marco, because I was just going to lock it down with a carrot afterwards. Okay, so since they didn't want to do that, we're going to swing for 6 into 6. They're going to block and draw 3 cards. Okay, get out of the attack and draw 3 cards. That's a pretty strong interaction there, guys. We're going to go ahead and play out the Cavendish here. Stand 2 Dawn is active and pass the turn. We could have attacked for more, but I wanted to see what they did first, obviously. Okay, so right here, they're going to play out an Ezo. Do a top search here. And they still have 6 Dawn left for the turn. They're going to pay 1, play out the Garp. I mean, man, this deck is just searching like crazy, guys. They are fixing their hand. They're sculpting their hand like crazy. And here we go. They still got 5 Dawn left to work with for the turn. We are down to 3 life. Okay, they're going to swing for 10 into 5. Now, we are going to use our leader effects to rest down the Garp. We'll just keep smashing into that with our little 5K Uda. That's fine. Because Uda's not great in this matchup. They can kind of just ignore the card. But it is letting us clean up these little pesky blockers everywhere, right? Or pesky, you know, 1-cost characters. Okay, so there's our combo, guys. Hang on, hang on. I almost missed it there, yapping. Hang on, guys. Watch this. 8 Dawn turn. This is perfect. What are we going to do? We're going to play out the 8-cost Rosinante. That's going to have 8 Dawn rested. We're going to play out the Bonney, and since we have 8 cards rested, we're going to be able to do a draw 2 trash one. We're going to be able to stand a Dawn up as active with this effect here. Notice I'm reading it like, wait, what's going on? I thought it would just stand the Dawn. Normally, I had to click on the Dawn. Now we're going to swing in with Cavendish. We get 2 Dawn back as active, and this is a 6K attack into them. This is going to cost a card from hand or a card from life. Let's see what they choose to do. They have a lot of cards in hand. I think they should counter out, but again, we'll have to see what they choose. And remember, guys, we are in 2x speed. We're just waiting for our opponent to make their decision here. This is a tough call. I don't think it's too tough of a call. I think they should probably just get the counter out of the way, because what would be the worst case scenario? I load everything on my leader and swing in. Okay, they decided to take it, so they drew 2 cards from that. 1 from life, 1 from their deck, from their leader's effect. I'm going to swing for 5 into 2. They're going to cash in on an Ezo to see if they can sculpt their hand a little bit better. They let the card go, of course, and now we're just going to go ahead and play out the Capone Beige here. We're going to fix our hand a little, and now we have a blocker. Now, I did know that they have an 8-cost I Am Whitebeard. I remember that from one of the effects, and that's why I played things out in this order here. I wanted 1 Dawn as active in case they try to play out I Am Whitebeard and swing with their leader. Then I could rest down their blocker and capitalize on a 10-cost Dofi. So let's see what they choose to do here. No matter what they do with their attack this turn, I'm probably going to cash in on the Beige, just so I can clear up a space for my 10-cost Doflamingo. Okay, guys, make sure you're preparing in advance for what your next turn is going to be. Okay, swing for 7. I can either give him 2 cards from my hand if I want to play around Charlotte Pudding, or I can just block with this Beige here and go from there. Okay, so I go ahead and rest down the Otama, so that way I can attack into it next turn, and he can't just, cancel the attack with Ezo to get out of it. They play out the 8-cost I Am Whitebeard, and they play out the 9K Edward Newgate. Okay, the 9-cost Edward Newgate. Okay, well, that's pretty annoying, right? We can't really do much. Now we can't really do much. Now, we are going to go ahead and play out the Doflamingo here, I think, after we attack in for 8. And watch this, guys. We still have a little bit more we can do here. We're going to play out the Doflamingo. That's going to lock down. I think we're going to swing 5 into Otama just to get that off the board. Not a big deal. And we have a few things we could do here. It looks like I might try to develop the board a little bit better and use my 10-cost Dofi on the following turn. Okay, and I think that's the better call here. Yep, watch this, guys. We're going to get kind of aggressive. Okay, I want to use these characters I have on the board. I'm going to swing in for 8 with my Uda, see what he does. This should be a card from hand. Okay, he sacrifices the Ezo to fix his hand a bit, and now we're coming in for 8. He's going to have to get out of this, guys. We have more attacks coming in. He 1K counters out. Now we're going to play out the Rouge. We're going to swing for 8 with Cavendish, getting 2 Dawn back, and then we're going to be able to swing for 8 with our Bonney, and then we're going to have 1 Dawn active. I think we actually could swing 9 here. Yeah, we're going to swing 9 and try to get another 2K counter. He just countered with a 2K from an 8K attack into 8. So we're going to swing for 9 and 8. There's another 2K counter. Now we're going to pass the turn. Stand a Dawn is active with Rouge. We have a Dawn open. We can shut down one of these attacks, and we're blocking with Rouge almost no matter what. Yep, we're going to block with Rouge because we have to clear up a space for our Doflamingo. Wow, okay, they're going to play out Taxbeard. Their hand size is getting very low, though, okay? Taxbeard, here we go. Lock down your characters. And now, you know what, guys? I think we're actually going to attack, believe it or not. We're going to swing in because I want a Dawn as active. I want to be able to have Dawn active here. We're going to swing in for 6. I trash 2 cards from my hand. Standing 2 Dawn is active, and here we go. Okay, because he is only a 6,000 power leader, right? So we're swinging in for 6. He should probably counter out of this, guys, because he does not have a Dawn on his leader. If he takes this hit with his leader, he won't get to draw the extra card with the effect because he does not have a Dawn attached. Okay, so here we go. 6 into 6 here. All right, just waiting for my opponent. They are deep in the tank here, guys. Remember, I keep this on 2x speed. They decide to counter out with their leader effect. And then I'm going to swing for 6 in, and he gives me a 2K. We're going to pass the turn. I have 1 Dawn active here. Wherever he swings, I can rest something down. Okay, he's just going to go ahead and attack in to our face for 12. I think he probably should have attacked into my character, but either way, I'm going to block out because I need an extra space. All right. Wow. Okay, they play out the Yamato, guys. Very nice. This is a very strong play. They're going to go 9 into 5. Now, right here, guys, I have to really consider some things. I can pull the trigger on this and actually defend out pretty easily with a 2K, 2K, 1K. But do I need to do that? Is that the right call? Because I have a lot of blockers in hand I can use as well, right? Now, one other thing I should mention is I know he has a 10-cost Roger in his hand, guys. I did see that from, I think it was a GARP search. Okay, here we go. I'm actually going to go for his board now. I'm actually going for the board, and like I said, guys, I know one of the cards in his hands is a brick just from seeing it from searches. Okay, that card's gone. He did get to draw a card from that with his leader effect. Very solid ace interaction, and guess what? We're going to play out the 10-cost Dopey, lock down your entire board. We're swinging 6 into 6 here with Cavendish. They 1K counter out. Looks like we're going to swing for 6 more, maybe. Hang on, what are we choosing to do here, guys? We got a lot of options. We're going to swing for 8, and we decide to not swing with the leader for whatever reason. Or maybe we swung out of order. I think I was determining, I think I was trying to decide what I wanted to do here, and I messed up the order. I should have swung for 6 first and then the 8. Oh well, that's okay, it happens. All right, their turn, they have no attackers pretty much, right? They have this one Uda and that's it. And next turn I have, yeah, they're just going to go ahead and concede. Good game to my opponent, of course. Like I said, guys, I knew one of the cards in their hand was the 10-cost Roger. I already knew that previous knowledge. So I know some cards in their hand are bricks. This next turn, now I will say this, I was kind of waiting to get a Hody Jones. Look, there was one in my life, finally. I needed a Hody Jones to try to crack through for lethal to rest down any Dawn and rest down any blockers and go from there. But hey, in this situation here, we had them so locked down. There was just nothing they could do, right? Because this next turn, how are they supposed to survive? Look, they could play out the 4-cost Marco. They'll have 2 blockers. They will be able to draw 3 cards, and they have 1 life to get through. But I don't think it really matters after that, guys, because we're just going to attack so many times. But who knows? You never know. I will say, we do know what their top card is there. That is a brick. So the 2 cards under there, if they're not 2Ks and whatever else, then my opponent's in a lot of trouble. Okay, good game to my opponent. Let's move on to the next game. We got a game versus Red Purple Roger. Now, let me just say something up front here. Volume off. Let's get the speed on 2x. I think Red Purple Roger will be a pretty rough matchup, guys. But let's be very nice to my opponent. I think they may have been a newer player. Okay, and I think you'll see that. We'll be able to kind of look at his plays and go from there. Watch this, guys. They play out the Shanks. Okay, they're going to fix their hand a little bit. I think something happens here, guys, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, maybe it's not this turn. I'm not sure. Oh, yeah, they searched that up, guys, and look, they tried to use it when they didn't have a Dawn attached to their leader. So they just threw away a 1-cost 3K. Guys, please make sure you read your cards. Let's go back and read this card real quick. Notice the card on the screen. So they searched up this card with their, I think, with their Shanks, and it's a 1-cost 3K counter, but look at the main effect. You may rest one of your Dawn cards. Okay, does he have a Dawn card to rest? Yes, he does. Okay, but you have to pay 1 as well. Do you see what I'm saying, guys? You have to pay 1 and then rest an additional Dawn. And then watch this. If your leader is Goldie Roger and you have any given Dawn cards, add up to 1 Dawn card from your Dawn deck and rest it. So in other words, he couldn't have done this even if he had 2 Dawn active. You have to have 3 Dawn altogether for this effect. 1 has to be given, 1 has to be used to activate the to pay for the event, and the other has to be paid to activate it, the remaining Dawn. So it's typically a 3 Dawn altogether investment to ramp a Dawn. So like I said, let's be nice to this person. I think they were very clearly a new player. Okay, that's all right. All right, so here we go, guys. Let me hit play. So that was the turn they did there, and when I saw that, I thought, okay, that's, it happens, right? It happens. So we're going to swing 5 into 5. And another thing to consider, too, is they might actually be a decent player, but they might be trying Goldie Roger for the first time. They might be learning the deck. We have no idea. These are random players on the sim. Okay, so we swing for 5. We develop the beige. We do not get to use the effects because I think you need 6 rested cards to do the draw a card, trash a card effect, but that's okay. We have a blocker now. They're going to swing it for 6. There you go, guys. Hey, guys, spot the problem here. Notice what happened. I have 1 Dawn active. This does kind of show that they might have actually been like a completely new player. They just loaded up Dawn on their character, and they were going to try to swing for 5 and then 6. I'm playing Jory Bonney, guys. I'm going to shut down the other attack. Now, to be fair, it probably doesn't matter that much, because watch this, guys. I end up taking it anyway, thinking, okay, yeah, we're just going to rest down the attacker now. I was going to take the hit anyway. So even if he had loaded up for 9 on his leader, or 8 or whatever it would have been, I think it would have been 9. It's not a big deal. I was going to take the hit anyway. Okay, so we're going to swing for 5 in here. They're down to 4 life. We're going to play out the carrot, locking down the 1 cost. The 1 cost doesn't really matter. So then we're going to pass the turn back. The carrot is a very strong card to get down on curve because it becomes this threat they have to deal with at some point, right? Now, I will say some of these new decks don't really have to worry as much about carrot. I think it's better into something like Emu if they start attacking early on or early enough. But against something like Roger, they play a lot of very big characters. Okay, they attack in for 8, and we go ahead and take that hit. And now we're just going to keep attacking in here, guys. I'm trying to work out how I want to do this turn. I don't have a great follow-up here, but I think I'm going to try to develop this Jewelry Bonney, the 5 cost, and I'll be able to draw a card if I do the math correctly. So we're going to have to attack with the beige eventually, but I'm going to do that at the very end so he doesn't know what's happening. We're going to swing for 6 into 5. We're going to lock down the shanks. And then I think we're going to swing 7 with Jewelry Bonney. And then we're just going to attack with the beige to get a rested card so we can use our Bonney's effect. Okay, so again, we're going to do that at the very end. Attaching 2 Dawn to my leader. Swing for 7. They'll probably end up taking this or use some type of counter event, maybe. Okay, just waiting for our opponent, guys. Yep, they're going to use a 0 cost 3K. The Divine Departure, the purple Divine Departure. Very nice. That card's really strong. Okay, just waiting for them to trash a card to go with the effect to go up to 8,000. They trash an 8 cost Roger. Okay, so that's good for me. We're going to swing for 1 into 5. That goes through. Play out the Bonney. We can do a draw 2 trash 1. Standing a Dawn up. We're going to pass the turn. We have a Dawn as active, but it doesn't really matter too much in this situation. Okay, they are now on an 8 Dawn turn. They're going to play out Scopper, and they're going to go ahead and do a draw 2 trash 1, I believe, and ramp a Dawn. Very nice. They get rid of the Rayleigh. I'm happy to see that in the trash because that card is very strong. They're going to swing 6 into 1. We're going to use our leader effect to rest down the Scopper. Pause. Yet again, this is another example of we're probably dealing with a new player because they should, against Jewelry Bonney, guys, if you're going to attack for the turn, you should always attack first before playing out your characters because of my leader's effect. Okay, so we do punish them. We rest down that card, and we're about to be on our 9 Dawn turn. Okay, here we go. So now we can keep that Scopper locked down for pretty much the rest of the game, right? We're going to swing for 5 into 5 here. Okay. They go ahead and 1K counter out. We're going to swing 6 into 5, locking down the Scopper. And let's see what they do here. Maybe give me a 2K or a 1 cost 3K or something. They give me another Divine Departure. Okay, they want to keep their life as high as they can while they're still at 5,000 life, I guess. So that way they have 7,000. While they're a 5,000 power leader, they want to try to get out of all these attacks they can, so that way when they're a 7,000 power leader, it's going to be harder for me to crack through. Okay, so here we go. I play out the 5 cost Bonney, and I lock... Excuse me, hang on. That was a big turn there, guys. That was a Rosinante turn. We got to go backwards. All right, here we go. We are going to... So we swing in for the 6 here with the Bonney. We're going super aggressive. Watch this, because they don't get Scopper next turn. They don't get to attack with that. Now, 8 Dawn, playing out the Rosinante, cheating out the Bonney, keeping a Dawn locked down. They only have 8 Dawn to play with this turn. Okay, and we have 1 Dawn as active to rest down whatever we need to. Okay, we're in a very good position now, guys. Check out this board. Now, they do have another 8 cost Roger. That card is so strong. They are a 9,000 power leader this turn. 10 into the 6. We're going to rest down the Goldie Roger and block out of it. And now, guys, what do I attack into? I'll go 8 into 7. That's my only actual attack that I can go into. I'm kind of hoping he saves this, believe it or not, because I'm going to play out a 10 cost Dofi here and just lock down their whole board and pass it back. Does he have another 8 cost Roger? He might, because now he'll go down to 7,000 power and his whole board is locked. Wow. Plays out the shanks. Where's he going? 12 into 5. Okay. Pause. I would have recommended going into something on my board because I did have this character sideways for 9. This was a 7, excuse me. It's an 8,000 power character, minus 1,000 from Shanks' effect. So he's 7,000 power. Attacking into this would have forced me to use a blocker, or it would have forced me to use, what, 7, so 9, 11, 13, 3 2K counters, which I do have, but that would have taken 3 cards out of my hand. So instead, he actually attacks into me. I'm just going to take that hit, guys. I don't want to put any of this extra stuff on the board. I didn't need to block. I didn't need to clear anything out. So now I just get to draw extra cards. He's down to 2 cards in hand. So right here, I actually want to go for the Shanks. I probably could have tried to go for lethal here. But instead, I'd rather just get this Shanks off the board and play for next turn. I'm not really in a rush here, right? Okay, here we go. If I attach 5 to the Doflamingo, I can go 14 into 12. Okay, he would need a 2K and a 1K minimum to get out of this, or another 0 cost 3K. 14 into 12. Does he have a way to get out of it? He does not. Okay, well, if that's the case, we're just going to go ahead and start swinging here, guys. We're going to swing into the, I think we're going to swing into the Goldie Roger here. I think we're going to go 12 into Roger. Looks like I might go 10 into Roger. I'm just chancing it. I'm hoping he doesn't have enough to defend it. He does have a 1K. That was greedy. We probably should have gone 12 into it. I think that would have been a better call. But we're going to swing for 7 into their leader, locking down the Gaben. And there was 7 more into the leader. or Gabin, however you say that last name, Scopper's Gabin, and then we're going to just pass the turn. We're going to leave one blocker open because I don't want to lose any of these characters on the board. Okay, at least none of the relevant characters. I'd rather just use my Bonney to block. Okay, they're going to swing for 10. I'm just going to take this and go down to 1 life, and I think they tap out. Yeah, they tap out here for a 10 cost 13k. Okay, well, now I can actually just take this and go for lethal next turn, right? I have easily calculated lethal. Let's go ahead and look at that once we pass the turn here. So watch this, guys. This is an interesting situation. Just recently, I came out with a video talking about lethal fundamentals. Pause. What would you guys do in this situation? Actually pause the video if you need to and break down how you would go for lethal here. Take into consideration the power of my opponent's leader. My opponent's leader is a 7,000 power leader. Okay? I'll give you guys a second to pause the video or figure it out real quick. Okay? Now, let's break it down. I can basically pay 3 Dawn with 3 of these attacks to get every single card out of my opponent's hand, right? What do I mean? How can I do that? If I attach 1 Dawn to Carrot and swing 7,000 into my opponent and lock down their Scopper, they lose 1 card from their hand, if they even have counter in hand, right? So that's minus 1 card from hand. And then if I attach 1 Dawn to Bonney and do the same thing, they lose another card from hand. If I attach 1 Dawn to my 5 cost, well, the other Bonney, okay, there's 2 different Bonnies. Sorry, guys, they're 2 5 cost Bonnies. If I attach 1 Dawn to the other Bonney, there goes his final card from his hand, right? So just by attaching 1 Dawn to Carrot, 1 Dawn to the Bonney, and 1 Dawn to the other Bonney, that's 3 7k attacks. All 3 cards are gone from their hand if they were all counters, right? Then I still have 3 other attacks to make it through. So we just swing for 7 with our leader, attach 2 Dawn to our leader, swing for 7, and then we attach 1 Dawn to our Rosinante to swing for 9, and that is game over. And even if there was something else involved, we still have, what? That would have been 3 Dawn, plus 2 on the leader, plus 1 on the Rosinante. That would have only been a 6 Dawn investment. We would still have 4 Dawn left to load up on Doflamingo to swing for 14. So let's see what happens here. Attach 1 Dawn to my Carrot. Attack 7 into 7, locking down Scopper. And now we're going to go ahead. I don't know what just happened there, guys. They messed something up. What was that? Was that another 0 cost? Yeah, that was another 0 cost 3k, and then they chose not to give it to their leader. I think they messed something up. Either way, there was no getting out of it. They had 2 bricks coming. GG to my opponent. And again, let's be nice, guys. I think this guy was probably a newer player, but I still wanted to use this game to kind of show off the deck and all that good stuff. Now, we have one more game to go over on the sim, and this is using a more standard list. I think it was a first place list from a recent tournament, okay? And we'll talk about that, you know, after this game. All right, guys, now we got a game versus Blue Purple Luffy, okay? So volume is off. Let's make sure the speed's on 2x. It is, and here we go. Now, this game is actually taken from my stream the other day, okay? So that's why we're not on the standard Windows Media Player. We're actually on my, we're watching something back from one of my streams. Okay, so we're actually going to be going first in this game. We're going to be playing out the Jory Bonney. We're going to be doing that. We're going to be using that to search right away. Looks like we're going to search up another Bonney. We're going to swing for 6 just to get some cards out of hand, and then we're going to go ahead and play out another Jory Bonney. Okay, so it looks like they took the first hit. By the way, guys, I do have to go back real quick. I'm sorry. They just straight up took the first hit like it was nothing? Yeah, look at this, guys. Swing 6. They just took it. Okay, they just took the first hit. That's a little bit of a greedy play, in my opinion, by Blue Purple Luffy. But hey, that's okay. Maybe they didn't have much counter power in hand. It does happen. There are quite a few, you know, top-end cards in Luffy. Their hand might be bricked. Okay, so they attack into my Searcher Bonney, which is probably the right call, and they had nothing to play out on this turn. But watch this, guys. They left 4 Dawn active. We're not going to attack. We're going to actually make, I mean, our best play was to play out the Uruj here, but we actually don't want to attack into them because they probably had a Thunder Bagua, which could also explain why they attacked, or they took the first attack so easily. Okay, well, now we're going to just play out a Hody Jones on curve. So, pause. Guys, one thing I have to say is if your opponent is going to play super passively and just let you develop characters, they're not developing any characters, we can play out Hody Jones very aggressively, especially when they were attacking into our board. We were at 5 life, guys. We played out the Hody Jones aggressively to take our first life of the game, rest down their Dawn, and attack in for 8. Okay, so now we're going to pass the turn back, but they are on a 9 Dawn turn, and watch this follow-up, guys. This is a pretty nice follow-up. Dracule Mihawk. Guys, they went from Godthread into Dracule Mihawk. That's okay, though. Now we're on a 9 Dawn turn. We're going to use our own 8-cost Mihawk to stand 4 back as active, and it was a 9 Dawn turn, so we got to play out the 5-cost Bonney, drawing a card, draw 2 Trash 1 effects, stand a Dawn is active, and we'll pass for the turn. We're not going to swing for 6. I want to tap down their other attack here. okay, they're going to start off with this 9K attack. We could have blocked and 2K countered out, but we actually, well, we only have one, but we have two 2K counters, so we could have blocked out of that, though. But we chose not to. They develop a blocker and a Rosinante. Very strong setup turn by my opponent. They're preparing for the late game, okay? But we have a 10 Dawn play here. We are going to swing for 8. They're going to 2K counter out of that. I think it was, what was that, guys? I'm sorry. This game is going by so quickly. We swing for 8. They go 2K, 1K to get out of that. Very nice. We got 2 cards out of hand. We slam down a Shanks, and we equalize the board. We just get rid of that 9,000 power Mihawk. Okay, they play out another Mihawk to bottom deck another one of our cards. I think it was the Bonney this time. Was that... Guys, I'm sorry to keep going back, guys, but I have to see, yeah, they got rid of the Bonney. Man, this guy's pull was incredible as far as pressure goes. They did a God Thread to remove one of my characters. They did a Mihawk to remove another, and then they just did another Mihawk to get rid of another character. So this was a very, very strong pull by my opponent. Okay, so now they're going to swing 6 into 5 here. We'll see what we choose to do. Looks like we're just going to 2K counter to get out of that one. We don't want to, you know, we don't want to dip too low. And guys, we might just be going for lethal here. Yeah, this is, so pause. Let's talk about this. This is the board state where it's like, okay, we're in such a bad situation here. And look at our hand. We don't even have any block. We have one blocker we can play out. So in this situation here, guys, I decided, you know what? We're just going to go all in on this. We're just going all in. It's one of those situations. And every now and then it pays off. Watch this, guys. We play out the Hody Jones. They had already attacked. I think we rested their Nami with our leader's attack. So, or with our leader's effect. They should have probably not attacked at all because that's how we rested down the Nami. Now we play out the Hody Jones. They had 3 Dawn active. We rest 2 of the Dawn. They have 1 Dawn left. Now, in this situation here, how would you attack? Would you attack for 6, 8, 10, 11? Or would you go 8, 8, 8, and then 11? How would you attack in this situation? Take a second to think about it, guys, and then see what I do. Okay, so right here, guys, here we go. We're actually going to, I think I'm going to choose to go for 3 8s and an 11. Here we go, swinging in for 8. Let's see what they give me. They give me 3 1K counters. I'm going to go 8 into 6. This should take a Gum Gum Giant. Yep. And I'm just hoping for the best here, guys. If he has enough counter, we lose. But guess what? He did not have enough counter. We take those. That was a rough situation. Not the best game to show off like Bonney in a more controlled way. But let me say this right now, guys. My opponent could not have gotten a much better pull against me. The way that he was getting rid of one of my characters every single turn with an effect. Not even by attacking with his leader, right? He got rid of my 1-cost characters early on attacking with a leader, but he was just bottom decking characters, KOing characters nonstop. That was a very, very strong pull from Blue Purple Luffy, and we got fortunate that that was what their hand looked like. Notice their hand, guys. They had double Thunder Bagua, double Gum Gum Giant, but we said, hey, Hody Jones is the trump card here. We're going to lock down 2 of your Dawn. You only got 1 Dawn left for the turn, and we're gonna have to go for it here. So either way, good game to my opponent. Now, real quick, let me show you guys the deck list. This was a more standard list we just looked at. Let me show you guys what that list is. This is the list right here that was in that very last game. It looks like it's the same deck here. One is by Quan Lee, and the other's by Wachi Yang. Not sure if I said those names right. I'm sorry, guys. But if you want to, you know, take a screenshot of this and use this later, or you could always hop over to LimitlessTCG, go to the decks right here, click on Green Bonney, and scroll down to this Quan Lee first place list, and click on the little, notice right above my camera, this list icon here. And then here, this is that list, okay? We're not going to spend much time on this. I just wanted to show that this is a pretty standard, very successful version of Green Bonney. You can always just run the standard, you know, tried and true version of Bonney. But for today's video, we were using this version, right? We were using something very, very different. And I want to know what you guys think about it. I want to know what you guys think about this list. Now, one thing I will say right away is I think I'm going to go -1 Rosinante, just so I can go up go up 1 more of the green, the 10 cost Doflamingo. That's the first thing I think I want to do. Another thing to consider is this, excuse me, going into OP-13, how important is removal prevention? I'm not sure. I'm not going to lie, because think of it like this. Against Red Blue Ace, I think some of them are still running Red Rock. I'm not exactly sure, to be honest. I haven't looked at a list in a while, but I think they're still running Red Rock, or at least some might be. So Tashigi does help in that specific situation. However, if it starts, you know, being a thing where there's not very much removal in the format, maybe we don't even have to run TCG, or maybe we just run it as a 2 of, because we do have another very, very strong option to run. I think we have 2 very strong options to run over TCG for a 2K counter. Actually, just one for a 2K counter, excuse me. We'll talk about another option in a second. But for the 2K counter slot, this Ace. This Ace is not even that bad. It's a 5 cost 5K with a 2K counter, and if you have 2 or more rested characters in play, you can rest up to one of your opponent's cost 5 or lower characters. So, I mean, imagine it like this, guys. If you attack in for the turn with whatever character you have on the board, let's say you have this card down from last turn, and you attack in for 6K and go from there. Well, guys, you can then play out the Rosinante, and this character rests so that you can play out another character from your hand that costs exactly 5. Okay, well, we can play out this Portgas the Ace and rest down one of their characters and go from there. I don't know what we can do with that, but that, you know, it's an option, I guess is the point, right? And then we're establishing a 5K. We have an 8K as well from the Rosinante. We have some options there. Another thing to really consider for this card is it's also another card we can cheat out with the green Uda. And last but not least, it is something that would be searchable over TCG as a 2K counter with our event searcher if we need to, right? So it does add some possibilities there. Now, there's 2 other 5 cost cards I want to talk about for us to really consider. The first one is on the screen right now. This card is actually just extremely, extremely good, right? This is just a very, very solid card. It's a 5 cost 7K with Banish. Everyone knows what Smoker does, right? And remember, guys, we're going to be cheating it out with this 8 cost character as much as we can, or on like a 9 or 10 Dawn play, we can play out this Dracula Mihawk. Now, one thing I do want to mention real quick is notice how this Mihawk is worded. Set up to 4 rested Dawn cards is active. Then you may not play a character with an original cost of 7 or more during this turn. There is one other effect to worry about like that in this deck, and it's the Uda. Uda's on play effect says set up to 2 of your Dawn cards is active. Then you cannot play character cards with a base cost of 5 or more during this turn. So be very careful when you're playing out your Uda in the late game, guys. If you're trying to follow up with like a 5 cost character, you actually can't, right? Because it says then you cannot play character cards with a base cost of 5 or more, okay? So be very careful when playing this card out later in the game. This is meant to just be an early game card that we don't care if they KO. We can attack in with it as much as we want to, and if they KO it from any means, that's fine. We might be able to cheat out something like this 5 cost Bonney, this X-Drake to rest down one of their characters, this Carrot to lock down a character, this Cavendish to get Dawn as active. Who knows? Whatever. It might help with our leader effects. You never know, right? But the main idea is this. This card is really strong in the early game, but be very careful playing it in the late game. Now, there is a very strong play we can do in the late game with Uda. On a 10 Dawn turn, we can play out Dracula Mihawk, right? So play out the Dracula Mihawk for 8. We get 4 Dawn back, so we still have 6 Dawn to work with. Play out the Uda for 4, which takes us from down to 4, but then we go back up to 6, so we have 6 Dawn to work with. Then we could play out an Rouge, right? And that will allow us to have a blocker. We'll still have 2 Dawn to work with for the turn. We can even use it to do a search with We Are, because at the end of our turn, we're going to stand a Dawn back up with Rouge anyway, and now we have an 8 cost blocker and a 5 cost blocker and a way to a character that has non-KO to protect us later on, right? Or you know, can kind of like reinsure our board a little bit, like we can get our board back a little bit. So really good stuff there. Now, what was the other card? So we were talking about Smoker. Sorry, guys, I kind of got sidetracked there. So this Smoker's a really good option for the 5 cost spot. And then, believe it or not, guys, I think this card is. That might sound crazy. I just think this card's really solid for what we're trying to do. It's a 5 cost 7K. So if you cheat this card out, let's say it's an 8 Dawn turn, right? I do think that playing out this Jewelry Bonney is the best case scenario because it's a blocker. We do a draw 2 trash one. We get the Dawn back as active, all that good stuff. But here's the thing, guys. We could also cheat out something like this Beppo. It's a 5 cost 7K. And at the end of your turn, you can set this character or up to one of your Dawn cards as active. That first part is actually really important. The second part, you know, standing up one of your Dawn is active, that's really good for the first turn we play this. But afterwards, we can just keep attacking, smashing in with this card, and then standing it up as active, you know, after the attack to protect it. And then, of course, you know, we can always search it up in this deck because we're running We Are as the searcher event. So that's about it, guys. There's a few other options. You know, Tony Chopper is a decent option as well. There are some really cool events we can consider for green if you want to try them. Let me just type in events real quick. There are some really good events that green has. Something maybe like this Punk Gibson. I've been considering busting this card back out against something like Emu and OP-13 because we can rest down a 4 cost character. So we can actually make plays where maybe we leave our opponent's board intact, and when they go to swing in with their 2 4 cost you know, whatever characters, maybe we rest one down, right? I don't know. It depends on the board state, obviously, but there might be something to that. You never know. You know, especially if we were able to find a way to attack in with our you know, say we had a way to like rest down, like maybe we played out a Hody Jones to get around their blocker on their 10 cost turns. If we can rest down their cards and go for them like that, you know, there's a lot of stuff we can do there. Hopefully y'all know what I'm saying. A little bit clumsy, but this card could be decent. You never know. It's probably not that great, to be honest, because against Red Blue Ace, it's not very good. Against most of Imu, it's not that great, but there could probably be some tricky situations where you could pull it off. And then against like I don't know. Again, maybe it'll be good against like Rayleigh. If Rayleigh becomes a tough matchup, we'll have to see. Either way, it's a nice 2-cost card we can get access to if we need it. But you know, the trigger is really strong too, resting down a character. And then of course we have Electrical Luna, the 3-cost this card here. This card's almost like a staple in every deck nowadays, guys, for green. Not every deck, obviously, you don't have to run it, but it is such a high-impact card against certain matchups. Again, you know, we'll have to see. Maybe there's no room for it, especially going into OP-13, because we're worried about Ace and something like Red Black Sabo, and they have a bunch of 8-cost and bigger characters. Maybe it's not going to be worth running anymore in OP-13. And then what else? Some of these one-cost 3K counters. There's 2 in particular. There's 3 I really like for green. Gum Gum, Elephant Gatling. All of these are one-cost 3Ks we're about to say. This one also has a tap an additional Dawn. So for 2 Dawn, rest a 5 or less. That can help us go for lethal. Then there's also, you know, 9-sword style Asura Dead Man's Game. Most people just call this Dead Man's Game for short. This card is incredibly powerful. This is basically the Hody Jones effect for 4 Dawn instead of 7, but you lose the body. And we're already running Hody Jones. We probably don't need it. And then last but not least, there's this 2-sword style Rashomon. 1-cost 3K, and it has, you may rest 2 of your Dawn cards, so that's 3 Dawn altogether, and then up to KO up to 2 rested characters with an original cost of 4 or less. So again, it could help into the aggro matchups if those become a really tough matchup for us. Well, guys, that's about it, man. That's about all I got for y'all. I'd really like to know what y'all have to say about this deck in the comment section below. Let's please be nice. Do you think it can work? Again, this is more geared towards OP-13. I have not tried much Bonney in OP-13. I don't play much Bonney at all, guys. I'm not going to lie. I'm not really like a super enthusiastic green player or anything like that. So I don't play a lot of green. But I will say this. I've noticed that if you look at the meta over in the East on something like gumgum.gg or, you know, OnePieceTopDecks.com, whatever you might be using, there's not a whole lot of green Bonney going on at the moment, but I think there's plenty of green Zoro. So if you like to play green, you're going to be fine either way. But if we're trying to make green Bonney work in the OP-13 meta, what I would highly recommend is this card right here and cards like this. Don Quixote Rocinante and even this Mihawk. Being able to flood the board is going to be a very big deal, I think, in OP-13, because I think with decks in the game like Imu moving forward, there's probably not going to be a lot of removal floating around. And that's what I was saying. Maybe we don't even need this Tashigi. And especially if you think about, I think the 2 most prominent forms of removal in OP-14, in OP-13, are going to be, actually, I could think of 3, really, but the 2 I was going to say was Stussy for Red Black Sabo and Imu, and then even the 6-cost Mars character from Imu as well. That can KO a 5 or less based on their base cost. Okay, well, if that's the case, this card protects from that, and another card we can consider is, of course, the 2-cost Rocinante. It will not be searchable from We Are, but maybe we can trade out something like this beige for the Rocinante. We'll have to see what happens. But either way, this list was a lot of fun to play. I highly recommend it. I'm not saying it's the best list out there or anything like that, but who knows, with a few tweaks here and there and fixing it from, fixing a few of the ratios and giving it a play test or 2 and trying to figure out how to make it even better, could have something here, guys. Again, it's a 4-5-8 list where we have a lot of 4-cost targets to play out right on turn 2 going second. And then we have a lot of 5-cost characters just because it goes with our Uda. And it also goes with our 8-cost stuff with Rocinante, right? There's the 8-cost in the 4-5-8. That's what the 8 stands for. Okay? All right, that's it. That's all I got for you guys. Hope you all enjoyed. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Let me get the outro page on here. Thank you to everybody who made it this far. Guys, if for everyone who likes, subscribes, shares, comments, and views my stuff, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Anyone who's using my TCG Player affiliate link, if you're donating through Patreon or PayPal, if you're a Playmat supporter, a YouTube member, or part of the Discord community. Thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate each and every one of you. All right, I'm done. Hope you all enjoyed. Until next time, peace.